Glad you all are here. Hi, Jess. So grab a seat, get your paperwork, and we'll get this party started. So welcome to the PSP Winter Meeting. Glad you guys are all here representing your families, and I know life is full and crazy, and so it's nice to get a night to come fellowship with other moms. There's snacks in the back and tea. Our lending library is back there if you want to take a peek at that. So sometime throughout the evening you can do that. Let's take a minute to bow and pray and thank the Lord for our day. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for each family represented here. Thank you for our speaker and what she's going to bring to us tonight. Thank you for each homeschool family, and I pray over them, Lord. I pray over our evening that you would bless it. In your name, amen. On to some business. Well, actually, we're going to go ahead and play this cute little video for you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Farrah with Stockdale Christian PSP. Today we're going to explore our one and only lending library. Let's go check it out. Welcome to the lending library.
Here at our exclusive PSP library, you can browse our large array of resources for your homeschool needs.
Do you need to switch history lessons because it's just not working? The lending library has great options.
Want to go deeper during Bible time?
The lending library might just have what you need.
Want to enhance science in your school routine?
The lending library has it!
K through 8th, math, science, spelling, reading, the list goes on.
If you want a book, just simply take the picture of the book you want. Email the picture of the book to psp@stockdalechristian.com. And don't forget to return the book. Easy as pie.
Do it all in the ultimate comfort at the Lending Library Lounge. Pour over books and ideas in the lush comfort. You may just even see our fearless PSP leader. It's fun for the whole family! I hope you enjoyed our exploration into the PSP Lending Library. We hope to see you there!
Our PSP library is always accepting donations for families who are willing to donate used curriculum and reading books to help our community. Come by Tuesday, Thursday, 10 to 2, or by appointment.
Okay, so your activities and fees worksheet, you got that. Testing choices. So standardized testing is coming up, and you have two choices. You have the Terra Nova test, and you have the PASS test. The Terra Nova test is done here at the school, and they bring your student in with other students their age into a classroom, and that's April 19th through the 23rd. It's about 3 or 4 hours a day, and I think it's 3 or 4 days, so Monday through Thursday, I believe. The PASS test is a popular test, and that's a test that you do at home. It's not timed, but it is administered at home, and you do it each day. There's 3 sections: reading, math, and language. Once I figure out how many we're going to order, that's when I'll know the exact price, because the more we order, the less it costs. So if you fill out that testing sheet, then I'll be able to give you a price by your conference, and you can pay at your conference. Yes, Jamie?
Which price, how do we know on the Terra Nova?
The Terra Nova, it has same thing. I'll have to give you the price by then. So our Stockdale Christian School Library we also have a slot now. Thursdays by appointment only from 2:30 to 3:15. If you want to come check out books, you get 2 books per student, and they get to keep them for 2 weeks. The library is downstairs here in the FMC building, and you just contact me if you want to make an appointment. It's not drop-in, it's by appointment only. So we just do 1 family at a time. So if you're interested in checking out books, you can do that. We have our spring craft. That's coming up. That's our Mother's Day craft, and we'll be doing some cards and making a cute candle. Constitution Study Hall. So we're going to do a Constitution Study Hall for 7th and 8th graders. So if your child is doing the requirements, or if you just want them to come study and learn about the Constitution, we can come do that, and then we'll do the test on the final day. We have some extra t-shirts in the back there, so if you didn't get a PSP t-shirt, there's a few sizes back there. You can check those out and you can get one of those. And we are planning the end of the year party for May 19th. And so that's more to be announced on that, but just so you marked that date and knew that that's when it was going to be. Andrea, you want to chat about the Valentine party and the books and brushes?
So in February, we don't do books and brushes because we do a Valentine's Day party. And if you had a chance to sign up, there's a really great little resource right here. So what we do every year is each child can enter their contest, or enter a box into the contest, and people get really fun and creative and elaborate with their boxes. So you can kind of come take a peek if you aren't sure what we're talking about, but if you go on Pinterest and write Valentine's Day box, it's essentially just a box and you put a little slit in the top of it and they get their Valentine's Day cards in the box. But some people get really creative, other people just put like a bag and put the kid's name on it and put some stickers on it, you can make it fun. But there is a contest and there's going to be prizes depending on the grade levels. So there will be like some first and second prizes, and then there's also going to be prizes this year for most original, most lifelike, funnest. I don't know, we're just going to have different categories. So if you are looking for a fun activity for your kid to do, it doesn't involve a screen, get out some Amazon boxes, let them use cotton balls and glitter and tape and glue and just go crazy and make a really fun box. So that is probably our a really fun party, our highest attended party that we have. So that'll be the Valentine's Day party in February, and then in March we're going to have another book club, and we're going to go ahead and paint, oil pastel some succulents. So I kind of have two different versions. This is my more boyish version. This is not flowers or pink, and this is my girlish version. But you purchased oil pastels at the beginning of the year for the first 2 lessons, and we're going to bring them back for the last 2. So you'll bring your oil pastels. I'll send out a reminder for you. And if you have watercolors, this one is actually oil pastels and watercolors, and then this one is just oil pastels. And then we're going to go ahead and take actual oil, like olive oil, and Q-tips, and you rub it in, and it smears and blends it all together. It's pretty cool. So that'll be March's book club, brushes portion, and then the book portion will be the second half. You can sign up for that. Thank you for those of you who come. The kids had so much fun, and it's just so fun to see them run around and just have normal time with peers. So that will follow with 2 books in March, and then again in April we'll do it again. April's book club I'm really excited about. It's just going to be a hands-on, fun, creative time. They're going to make robots, and we're just going to have a ton of buttons and pieces of felt and foam and pipe cleaners, and they have a really great story. I don't know if you've read Homer Price, but the little boy is in charge of a donut machine, and it goes wonky, and the robot goes wonky. So we're going to read that with the books portion, but the art is going to be a robot. There's going to be a bunch of different things that they can just kind of hands-on do. So for this, we'll just have you bring your scissors, and we have a lot more Elmer's glue this time, and a bunch of fun supplies. So that will be April's book club. That sound good? Did I forget something? Oh, it's, how much? Tell me, I forget. How much is it per kid?
Oh, 3 for Valentine's Day party, and 2 for books and brushes.
Perfect. Got that? $3 per child. Oh, and if you would like to participate in bringing Valentine's, there's a portion of the party where the kids pass out their Valentine's cards or a little pencil or lollipop, whatever you want to do. If you just want to do a card, you can just do 1 card per family, and your kids can all take turns, and everybody passes out 10. It's really mellow. Nobody counts and makes sure everybody got the same. It's not like that. So just bring whatever you have, deliver your cards. It's really fun time for them to drop off their little Valentines. And we just write on our cards, to you from Sarah, or whatever your kid's name is. So you don't have to address them to everybody. So we usually will get a tally to you. So we'll say, if there's 40 kids signed up, make sure you have enough for 40 kids to pass out your Valentines. What else did I forget? You're awesome, thanks.
And as far as the boxes go, if you didn't look at those pictures, you might look, because you're going to come and go, oh, what happened here? Because it's crazy. And I mean, we're talking paper mache. I mean, we're also talking a box too. I mean, but it's a super fun time, and the kids really love it. So we'll have boxes all around the room. They'll get to deliver their Valentines, and the kids love it. I don't know, are you playing bingo this time too? Yeah, and we play bingo, and they like that, so that's fun. We even made it Mom's Division one year, just so you know. Maybe we should bring it back. Mary, how are you on your book? Good. Yeah, okay.
Okay, you should all have grabbed a yearbook flyer. It says PSP yearbook at the top. I'm just going to read through it really quickly. If you have questions, I'm the one to ask. My number's on here at the bottom, or you can grab me tonight. So first due date is January 29th. That'll be the last call for the mask pictures, if you want to participate in that fun little idea. Books and brushes, and then the Christmas activities. Student portraits will be due March 5th. If Amanda did not take your child's picture and you would like your child to be on the grade pages for the yearbook, you'll send me a headshot. And it needs to be vertical, like this orientation, not this. Otherwise, it'll be very close up. If Amanda did take the pictures, she'll send those to me and you don't have to do anything. Family pages and 8th grade graduate pages are due March 26th. That's a date change. I'm sorry about that. I thought the spring meeting was going to be in March. Anyway, in all the yearbooks on the table and up here, you can look at samples of family pages if you're interested. It's just an 8.5 by 11 page that you design however you want. You can have your kids help. You can do, there are lots of apps. Shauna used PicCollage last year on her phone and just send it to me from there. People use Costco, Walgreens. If you've got skills of your own, you can use any Adobe software. You can print pictures, glue them onto a piece of paper, and write with a Sharpie. Anything you want. You can either turn in a physical paper to me or Shauna or the PSP box, or you can email it to me. We really hope you'll do it, especially this year where we've had so few opportunities to be all together. I think the family pages are really going to be able to fill in the gaps of the year so people can see what everyone's been up to. Prior to the academic showcase, at least by then, you will have ordered as many yearbooks as you want to order and paid for them. And we'll pass them out at the end of the year party. Second paper I hope you picked up is a little yearbook survey. If you could just fill this out tonight and either put it in your file box or bring it to me or give it to Shauna, it'll really be helpful to know how many people intend to do a family page, 8th grade page, and how many yearbooks you might purchase. Our price will depend on those things, and I want you to know as soon as possible what the yearbook will cost. Last year, I want to say it was $16. Does that sound right? Yeah. And was hoping to hear back from the printer today. He said he'd get back to me. He got busy, I guess. But yeah, so if you could let me know your intentions there. And these aren't binding. If stuff comes up and you thought you would do a page and you don't, that's fine. I just want to get an idea. So if you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for all the pictures you've sent in. And thank you in advance for the pictures you will send in.
I don't know, but Field Truth just kind of has a bus, but I know that Andy has a little something as far as dance goes. Maybe she wants to.
This is just an opportunity that just came up. My daughter Grace, and I know there's some others in the group. Grace dances at Civic Dance Center. They're the group that does the Nutcracker every year. And like lots of small businesses, they're struggling right now, but they're offering some new classes that are really fun, and there's something they've never done before. They're doing a 6-week Me and My Little Dancer. It's like a mommy and me kind of thing for 2- and 3-year-olds with an adult. As long as I've been around, I've never seen them do anything like that before. And then they're also offering father-daughter dance lessons, which I think is super fun, and Grace is too old for, but I would be all over this. Ages 6 to 9, the class is for dancers and their father. And so these are both, it's like a 6-week session, so it's not a huge commitment, but it might be something fun and different to do. So if you want any information, just call me or email me. I can forward this information to you. It's a great studio. I've tried to plan stuff and it's been a big bust, so I'm sorry. I usually have the funnest job in the group, and this year it's just not. So.
No, you're full.
This year she's had the easiest job. Yeah, sports are kind of a bust right now too. As soon as I hear anything, I'll let you know. But as of right now, we're still just playing basketball at home with laundry. I don't know. So at the beginning of this month, I sent a text asking if there was any accomplishments in your home. I didn't care how big or small, just thought it would be fun to hear something positive. And so I thought that I'd read a few of the things that are going on in the PSP that I thought were encouraging. So we did a nature study and we went for a nature walk. My team had great attitudes today. We were blessed with some new writing lessons from a teacher friend who even delivered them to my house. We practiced spelling, and both children got 100% on spelling tests. We split our day into sections so we could get it all done with breaks, and the kids' attention span was better. We got the housework complete, and we weren't even stressed. Our chapel time worked for us. We sang and colored as well as did Bible verse copy work. We read a book aloud with my kids, Best Friends for Francis. Today we celebrated being halfway there. And of course, I was singing because, you know, living on a prayer. All right, so we shared what was easy and hard about homeschooling versus traditional school. Today, we persevered in math by using money and adding double numbers. Today, my son did well in math. He also wanted to do the reading, and he usually asks me to read. We're working at one subject at a time to get ourselves caught up. I'm focusing on him and what we actually accomplish, and trying not to get discouraged about the things we don't accomplish. We started a new fitness app today, and the kids had a blast doing exercises. Today I watched everyone working together to accomplish school and non-school stuff. It was truly amazing. We had teamwork. We've been breaking up our days, and my student did her computer class earlier than usual. Today we were supportive of each other and took the morning reflecting after the loss of a pet. We prayed together and thanked the Lord for our time. My girls are showing more initiative and independence. They can get their lesson plans and are able to get started independently. We were able to babysit my grandson, and the kids worked on schoolwork in the living room floor by him. She even sent me a picture. It was adorable. We are loving our beautiful feet books on California history, and we even made Italian dinner from our Eat to Explore subscription. And this last family said, we built a fort in the living room and did our Bible lesson inside of it. It was fun, and it kept the boys' interest up. So I love that a lot of little things add up to a big thing. So sometimes when you think you had a bad day, or you can just focus on the little things and what you have accomplished, getting to spend time with your kids and your family and be home together and cherish that time. So anyways, I thought that was awesome. All right, so I think we're, as far as business, if you have any questions, I'll be available afterwards and happy to talk to you. And so I'd like to introduce a sweet friend and fellow homeschool mom. One of her deepest joys is blessing and encouraging moms. She has her master's in marriage and family therapy. She's been married for 23 years, and her husband have 2 sons. She's home educated for the past 13 years, written and published a few books, and loves adventures of all kinds. She's a fiercely loyal friend and an imperfect daughter of Jesus. Would you guys please welcome with me our speaker, Patty Scott.
I'm so glad to be here this evening with y'all, and let me just get this. If I don't have my notes app up, then God's really going to have to lead me. There was a time when I had prayed, because I used to go right off my notes when I would speak, and I had prayed for God to give me less of that. And then the PowerPoint broke where I was going to speak, and I had these really small cards because I was going to go off the PowerPoint. I had just like 2 cards with not my whole talk on it. I was like, okay, way to throw me in the deep end, Jesus, you know, but it worked, and I started being better at not having to constantly look at my talk. But I want to talk today about keeping the joy in your homeschool and how to restore it when it goes away. And so the topic we're going to cover is burnout, because that's the enemy of joy, in my opinion. And God made us for joy. He's a God of joy. And so it's readily available to us at all times. But sometimes we miss it, and that's okay. But I want to help us get it plugged into that joy, especially in a season. It's a season, this season, right? It's a season. We're not in this forever. COVID will not be here forever. Maybe COVID itself will be here forever, but the way we as people interact with it is going to change. And we're not going to constantly have to be the way we are right now, but we're in a season, like if we get to study history as grown-ups. I didn't really get history when I was a kid. I don't know about y'all, but I got it, like American history I love. Everything else was kind of like blur. And now I get history because I've studied as an adult, and you know that there were plagues, and there were problems, and there were wars, and there were things that people had to face that were challenges, and we're in that spot right now. This is ours. Every generation has something like that, and this is ours. But it's going to pass like it has in everything else. So we'll get out of this season. For this season, though, it can be harder to find the joy because we're separated, and we're facing challenges, we're having to like dig in, and our kids are with us even more, and they don't have as many ready options to keep them entertained, and we're trying to keep them off, the Xbox or whatever all the time, and so it's like it's a hard season, and it can zap our joy, right? So, and burnout can come, and statistically, February is the month of burnout for homeschoolers. I don't know about everybody here, but I found that out probably about my 4th or 5th month into homeschooling, 4th or 5th year, and I was like, why didn't somebody get, like when they give out the original homeschool, like all curriculum should have that. By the way, February, buckle up Buttercup, because it's not going to be an easy month, but I just kind of hit, like we would hit this, and it's true, like December, we'd be just finally getting our stride, and then we'd have Christmas break. And then we come out of that, I'm like, okay, we can pick this back up. But by February, I'm like, you just kind of feel like something vacuumed all the goodness out. So, so one of the things that I want to say about burnout and what can really cause, what is the root? Like every tree or plant has roots, right? And then those roots grow up and cause the fruit. So the fruit is burnout, but what's at the root of burnout? And a lot of times I think what's at the root of our burnout is our perfectionism. And so I want to talk about the heart of perfectionism, because homeschool moms, in my opinion, are very, I'm gonna say this in a good way, we're very, very invested in our kids. We're very invested. And so we have this vision, when we decide to homeschool, we've made a choice that we're investing ourselves in these children in a way that is full-time, that we're not gonna put them somewhere else to give somebody else a chance to have that input in the way that we are. And so we invest ourselves into that. And part of that then becomes this big ownership that we take on, that like, I'm the one. And even if our husband's like super involved in homeschooling, which a lot of families have that blessing, that the husband's engaged in like planning or at least supervising or giving feedback or hearing what went on that day or whatever, but or teaching, certain subjects. But even in those situations, we as moms take that weight and put it on our shoulders. That how my kid turns out is completely up to me. Can any of you guys relate to that at all? That is like, and I have an idea. I'm starting out here with this kid who's this big, right? And we're gonna start this venture, and we're gonna read the best stuff, and we're gonna do the best Bible studies, and we're gonna have the best quiet time in the morning, circle time, or whatever you wanna call it, and then we're gonna get the best curriculum, and in the end of this whole best thing that we ever did, the best we ever could, with our best kids, they're gonna go to the best schools and become the best people they ever could best be. And we end up with this vision that is so heavy. And what does that do? So you wake up in the morning into your best day, where you're going to be the best mom, teaching the best stuff, and your kid has a bad attitude. And all of a sudden you are pissed off. Sorry, I said that. But you are mad, because that's not the way the best thing goes. We're not going to have moods and attitudes and, and my son says this. I just want to get through this. What? That's not you being a lifelong learner that loves the joy of learning? It's then we panic in our little hearts, our mama hearts just start panicking. Because this is not the way that, and so we got to get that out of our child, And so it's just really, we put ourselves through so much, and then we're stressed. And then we're not the loving, good mom that Charlotte Mason told us to be. and so we just, we gotta hide that, right? Because we know that my friend, well, her kids did that art project, and they looked at the painter first, and they learned his life story, and then they wrote about the life story, and the kids wrote poems about his life story, and all this. And we're just barely getting cereal on the table, and my one kid threw it at the other kid, and you feel like that, and you start to compare, so you can't tell that mom everything that's going on, because she might know that you had not a Charlotte Mason morning, and so we separate ourselves. Perfection builds walls where there should be bridges, right? And it puts burdens where there should be lightness. In Galatians, Jesus tells us that it is for freedom that he set us free. That applies to homeschool. It applies to every living thing. It's for freedom that he went on the cross to set us free. And as homeschool moms, he wants us to be free. And if Jesus set you free, you're free indeed. And so that includes how you homeschool. And if you're not homeschooling in the freedom that he died to procure for you, then I'm inviting you to evaluate that and go, why am I not in this freedom? Well, it's perfectionism. And perfectionism boils down to fear. So that's why he says like over 300 times, fear not. Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid my kid's gonna be hurt by the world and mess up and end up some hot mess. I'm afraid that's going to reflect on me, and you're going to judge me and reject me, and so I have to be perfect. And that fear drives us, right? So that's the root under the root, is this fear. And these fears that drive us make us control our kids, make us try to pick the perfect, go crazy at 10 o'clock at night, trying to figure out what math curriculum is going to solve your problem because your kid's rebelling against math right now. And we're in the middle of the night tossing and turning, trying to figure out, well, gosh, maybe I should have done Matthew C, or something. And it's stressful, and we burn ourselves out. So I'm just telling y'all that there's some things we need to do to take the weight off, because those are self-imposed. There are burdens that come with being a mom, and there are burdens that come with being a homeschool mom. But that's not them. The ones that we extra add onto ourselves, expecting these high standards and driving ourselves and our kids towards them, those are unhealthy things. So the difference is when we can be still and know that He is God. And how that translates into our homeschool is that I know that I am not the author and perfecter of my child's faith, that I am not the author and perfecter of my child's faith. And I am not the one who is going to direct his paths. I'm not. Those things God says, I will direct your paths. Man makes his plans, but God directs the path. Not the homeschool mom. There's no Bible verse in there that says, man makes the plan and the homeschool mom directs the path. So if you're living like that, you've tweaked scripture and you've said, excuse me, Jesus, and you've moved him off the throne and stepped right up on in there and you've got everything under control. But it's too much. We're not meant to be there. We're just the sheep. We're not the shepherd. So we need to accept that God has our kids, He's got their plan, and believe me, I got an older son who was born with a strong will. Anyway, like it has to be done His way. And I always say now, I wish you'd have come with a t-shirt, a little note that just said, I'm only going to learn the hard way. Because that is his personality. He has got to wrestle everything down to the ground. And he's got to make everybody pay when it doesn't go his way. And he's 19 now, and he's still got that thing. Like, he's such a good person. And yet, when things don't go his way, man, woo-hoo. So, and I thought I was going to work that out of him, especially by now. Like, by 12, I thought, but at least by 19, So, but you look at yourself. Like, can y'all look at your own? Some of you may have never had that much rebellion in you, but I did, and I do. And so I look at myself and think how many years it took Jesus to work on me. We're a lifelong project. And our kids aren't projects. I use that word loosely because our kids are people, right? They're not projects. But Jesus loved me into more and more wholeness all the time. He still is. And that's the story going to be for my son, who I would say he's living out the song Desperado, come down from your fences. He's always on half this, like this or the other poem, that little poem when you were the nursery rhyme. When they were good, they were very, very good, and when they were bad, they were horrid. So he's in that thing where it's like, you look at this side and you go, oh man, that is, ooh, oh no. That's how he lives. And as a mom, that can really wrench us, right? And there was a time when I thought I wasn't supposed to be up doing this kind of thing, because he's like that. And that's about me. But then I realized, no, you know what? I'm the gardener. I go out and plant the seed, till the soil, weed the garden. And you know what? If something goes great, that is fantastic. And if something doesn't, I cannot control that. I'm not the weather. I'm not the owner of the universe. I'm just a gardener. And I'm doing my very best job. And sometimes I stomp through my garden. What did I just do? I stomped through my own garden. Yeah, that's human. That's what we do, moms. We plant seeds and then we stomp all over them sometimes. It just is. But that is, and so we give ourselves the grace that Jesus is giving us. That, you know what? You're human. He's mindful of our frame. He knows that we're just dust. He knows that we're just going to mess it up. That's why He's God and we're not. So in our homeschool, to reduce perfectionism, we remember God is God, and I'm not. It's pretty simple. And then there's no perfect. So there's no perfect homeschool. There's no perfect family. I know you know this, right? But I gotta say it to you because you're like, oh yeah, that's right. And there's no perfect curriculum. Oh my goodness. So all the stress that we go through every year, oh, I don't know if we should do this or that. Some of you have been doing the same curriculum forever, which is really good. But you know what, if you don't, that's also really good. Like, do what fits you, and then know that, you know what, there's so many good curriculums out there that when you pick one, your child's gonna learn from it. And that's the goal. They're gonna learn from the curriculum you chose. So yeah, there are some things that could be better in this way or that way, but I have had to go through really reevaluating, because I had one child who's really bright, the strong-willed child, he's like, really evaluates. He could take stuff when he was really young, really high-level reading and understand it. My youngest son is just, it's gotta be fun. And it's different, and he needs to engage in things physically. And just a different way of learning. So if I wanted to give him all this stuff, it was like, yeah, I could read aloud all day, you know? And he's like sitting there all happy. He didn't resist me like the other one did, but was he taking it in? So we have to adjust sometimes, right? And we have to be able to give ourselves and our children that grace. But there's no perfect. So I was talking to a friend of mine, she's in Texas, she's a homeschool mom, and she asked me for some time the other day, and she said, her daughter has some autistic issues on the spectrum. And she's like, I've been so stressed all week trying to figure out what to do with her for this coming season of our school. And so I just asked her, tell me what you're thinking, and we sorted through some things, and she was so stressed over this math curriculum. We've been doing this, and it's been really working, but if I switch to this curriculum, I might have to do this. And I said, well, it sounds like that's working. And she goes, it is. I said, so don't do their math. Oh, yeah, like, you know, but we just need to give ourselves permission. 5 things I want to talk about. Oh, I also want to say this about perfect. I almost forgot that. When you think about the average school experience of a child, okay, and that means they're in a good situation, 16 kids in a group with one instructor, and in a normal situation, 24 to 26 these days. I mean, not in the classroom this season, but in general. And that teacher is you pick the most devoted teacher on the planet, and she or he is spending a certain amount of time lesson planning for a group. Yeah, they're assessing each child and thinking about their strengths and weaknesses, but they may not know. They sure don't know what happened or what time they went to bed last night, whether they had red food dye. They don't know that, and we do. But they're not able to spend the quality and quantity of time that you as homeschool moms get to do. You focus so much on each child and where they're at and what is it going to be next. And nowhere else on the planet will they get that kind of focused attention. So you're already miles ahead in what you're providing your students because of the amount of care you give to thinking about where they are and where they're going. It's just so much better that way. So know that when you started off this morning, when you woke up, or when you get up tomorrow, you're already ahead of the game in terms of the program that you picked for your child because you're that much more invested in them getting that much more focused attention from you. Okay, and I want to tell you that I believe that homeschool is motherhood on steroids. That's what it's like. Motherhood is hard, right? I mean, it's great, it's lovely. I love being a mom. It's one of my favorite things to be in the world, but it is hard stuff. It'll take you to the very, very end of yourself. But homeschooling will take you to the end of yourself and then give you no time to yourself to even process what that even was that you went through. And so that is motherhood on steroids. Like my friend just told me her favorite day of the week is Thursday. And I thought, why? And she's like, well, because, you know, the kids are still in school and da-da-da. And I was like, oh yeah, your kids are in school, cheater. You know? Not that that's bad, good for them. But you know, it was just such a thing like, oh yeah, that would make Thursday a little better. Like if I had the whole day to myself on Thursday, I could rock that, you know? So it's just, you know, we don't have that. I mean, even when our kids go out, they get to go to programs, but what do? We stand around the parking lot and talk to moms about what math program to pick. I mean, we're not really giving ourselves a day off, right? So we don't have the same space. But I'm going to tell you 5 things that I think we can do. And I want you to understand that burnout will happen. It's not whether it's going to happen or how you avoid burnout. This wasn't the topic of this conversation. Wasn't about whether we can avoid it, because we're not going to. You will burn out. So knowing that it's going to be part of what you go through is natural. And it helps us roll with it when we know it's coming, right? But there are 5 keys that I want to, they're not the only keys, but they're the 5 keys I picked to surviving and managing it, okay? The first one is to know your why. Every one of us picked homeschool for some reason, and I finally realized that it was character development for me. It took me a lot of years to get down to that, because one mom told me that some years ago when we were all at Valley Oaks, and I thought, what? Like, that wasn't, like, it was my heartbeat, but I thought, no, you got to get your kids ready for college. Like, what's this character? I mean, obviously we're character developing, but that's not why I'm homeschooling. And I really realized that, I told my son this over Christmas break, my younger son, if we have to spend 5 months canceling school and working on your attitude around the house, I'm so okay with that, because we can school June to August. It's all good. It's way more important to me the person you are and how you treat the people around you than it is whether you know how to do ratios and fractions right now. So to me, that trumped everything, and it never used to trump everything. It was like, yeah, that's really important, but knowing that that's my why now, it helps me narrow things down. We're having a hard attitude day. I don't care, I'll set all science and everything else aside. He can learn that later. He can be 40 and figure that out. Or he'll be going to a job and they'll train him in that. I don't need to worry about that as much as I need to worry about how that's me. So I know my why. That may not be your why, and that's fine. You can borrow mine, make it yours, it might have already been yours. Figure out why you're in this, because when your ship is going down, that's your lifeboat. Why am I doing this thing that is burning me out? It's going to give you a new, oh yeah, that's my purpose. And you get back on that and you can float. So know your why. Take breaks. Take breaks. Take breaks every day. Take breaks every week. Take breaks regularly every year. So what does that look like? However you form it. We used to have a quiet room time in the middle of our little after lunch. Everybody go down to their rooms and sit. They could nap if they needed naps, or they could read books if they wanted to, or do a puzzle, but they were not to come out of that room, or unless they wanted me to be grumpy the rest of the afternoon. So we needed to have that little time where I could like separate from whatever happened that morning and process and get back energized. Sometimes I would lie down during that, sometimes I would read a book, sometimes I would call a friend, but those are times that you need to refresh, recharge, and even if it's in the middle of something that thinks you just had a bad moment, I know it's hard to let homeschool sit and come back to it. Sometimes it's hard to get back on, but it's way better than to have everything going downhill and everybody's agitated, and now you're going to stick with it. Like, let it go and get a grip, right? Call a friend, you know, whatever. Watch a YouTube worship video. Do something to lift yourself back up so that you're not stuck in that space. And then have fun. Have fun. That helps burnout. So maybe go on a hike. I loved that when that mom said, I went on a hike with my kids. We did nature study. Kids are getting outdoors, which we're not doing maybe as much as we used to with COVID. So get outside, you know, go do something that's fun for all of you. Do a board game, you know, or put on a movie and pop popcorn. Do something that's going to break things up and make you have some fun. And if you need to take a day to do that, like, oh my gosh, we're in the middle of all this and we're not going to finish the book if we stop and take a day off, you know what? So what? So you don't finish the book. You're not going to kill your children either, and that's going to be such a plus. So sometimes just take a break and have fun. And you know, I remember the time when we had a Disney membership, or what do we call them, a pass holder. And we would go. I had it with when my oldest son was older, and then we would go, just the two of us, my younger son and I, once a month to Disney for the day. So we get up super early, drive down, go to Disney all day, and come home on a school day. But you know, we're homeschoolers, we can do that stuff. So, and those are some of my sweetest memories with him. When I just got like one of those like Facebook reel memories or whatever thing where they show you what you did. And I was like, oh, I'm so grateful that we did that we didn't just plow through, and I had this thing where we had to finish the math book, so we had to stay home and or take the math book in the car or whatever. No, we left our math book at home and went to Disney. And those things are just things that your kids are going to remember. They don't have to be big, but make sure you have fun. It's going to take you out of your burnout. 4, get support. Get support. There are tons of homeschool moms around you. If your child's floundering, get a tutor. If you need something to stimulate them, get an outside class, enroll. There are so many outside classes that you can enroll in now, especially now, virtual. There's so many online teaching kind of things. Talk to other moms. Don't try to do this alone. I know why you guys are here. This is a support thing, right? But use it. Don't hole up in your own. And on the given day that you're burning out, get some support. You know, the call a friend thing. Call a friend. And then the fifth thing, which may not seem related, but it is really related to me, is admit your mistakes. So much of what we don't want others to see about ourselves, and we have a person that we can tell the whole 100% truth to. Like, I lost it on my kids, probably DCS should have been called today. You know, you do tell somebody that, you talk to your dear friends about how really bad it was. Like, I don't know if I'm asleep tonight because I feel like the meanest mom that ever walked the planet. I don't know if my kids are gonna need so much therapy. It's so good to get that stuff out and not let Satan, when we keep it in, we're giving Satan an opportunity, aren't we? Because then we have the guilt, and I'm not talking about remorse, when you did something wrong, and yeah, it's wrong. We yelled at our kids and we lost it and it hurt their feelings and we were off the chain. Yeah, I have remorse and that's going to help me change, but there's a difference between God's tapping my shoulder and going, let's work on this, let's be gentler. I can help you with that. Then it is where you have that thing like, oh, you know, the shame and everything that comes with it. That's from Satan, and we don't need to let that fester. So you've got to call a friend, get all that stuff out, and clean yourself out so that you're back to normal. So those are the 5 things I recommend for you: is to know your why, take your breaks, have fun, get support, and tell the truth about when you're not doing so hot. And I just want to thank you so much for letting me come and encourage you, and I just am grateful that y'all have stuck with homeschooling through this, and I hope your families are blessed.
And the truth is, it is a season, and it does end. It's ended twice for me with my 2 boys. I'm on my last one, and it's bittersweet. It's like, I'm excited. I'm also going to be sad. It's been fun. It's been a fun year here at Stockdale Christian all these years. Valley Oaks when I was there. But anyways. All right. Well, there's snacks, there's tea, and there's tables, and there's moms you can fellowship with. So it would be a great time for you to stick around, meet someone you don't know, talk homeschooling, come talk to Patty, check out her books. Before we go, I have my favorite thing that I love to do, which is read some scripture over you. So take a deep breath. You can close your eyes. Just don't put your head down and fall asleep. Okay, all right. In Psalms it says, in the morning I lay my request before you, and I wait in expectation. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions will never fail. They are new every morning, great is your faithfulness. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. O Lord, what a variety of things you have made. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will praise my God to my last breath. May all my thoughts be pleasing to him, for I rejoice in the Lord. I call on you, my God, for you will answer me. Turn your ear to me and hear my prayer. Show me the wonders of your great love. You who save by your right hand those who take refuge in you from their foes. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. With God's help, we will do mighty things, for he will trample down our foes. For you are my hiding place. You protect me from trouble. You surround me with songs of victory. Have you never heard? Have you never understood? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of all earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy, for you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Lord, thank you for this time together. Thank you for all these families and this evening in Stockdale Christian, for even having a PSP, Lord. I pray over each of these moms as they go home that you would give them travel safety and that you would bless them. We thank you again for Patty and her sweet words, Lord. Just ask that you guide us and direct us. In your name, amen. All righty.